Woohoo.
Hello, everyone. We will get started in just 1 minute. We are just letting people log on. But hello. Perfect. We'll just give it 1 more minute and then we will get going. Perfect. Alrighty. Hello, everyone, and welcome to American Family Insurance DreamBank, where we believe in the transformative power of dreams. I'm Madeline, and I'm thrilled to have you with us today. For those of you that are familiar with DreamBank, welcome back. And for those of you that this is your first time joining us, welcome. Here at American Family Insurance, we believe communities are stronger and the future is brighter when people are actively pursuing their dreams. That's why we created DreamBank, an inspirational community destination and digital experience dedicated to dreamers everywhere. From our daily event series to immersive signature programs, there's something for every dreamer. Our offerings are designed to help you celebrate the dream journey, overcome obstacles, and stay motivated. Now, I'd like to introduce you to today's speaker. Brittany Meoska is the owner of Brittany Meoska Coaching, LLC, a former high school counselor. She now coaches teens, adults, and emotional and mental health and well-being. Oh my goodness. She now coaches teens and adults on emotional and mental health and well-being, confidence and mindset, and presents on various topics surrounding mental health and well-being to companies and schools K through 12, post-secondary institution, and healthcare workers. She also addresses physical well-being in her virtual fitness group, where she teaches daily classes to help people develop a long-term relationship with movement. All right, I stumbled a little bit through that one, but I will hand it over to you.
Thank you so much. You did beautifully, Maddie. All right, welcome. I'm so looking forward to jumping right in with you today. We're going to be creating some meaningful actions and resolutions that are specific to you. But before I jump in, I've got to let you know about, got to click here. There we go, the pot roast. I will never forget the first time I heard this story. I was a freshman in college and I was in my favorite psych class with my favorite psych professor. And he told us this. So as the story goes, there's this young woman who's hosting her first family Sunday dinner party. And she has decided to prepare the pot roast, like the recipe that's been handed down from generation to generation. And her mom and her grandma are in the kitchen with her. They're helping her prepare this meal. And she takes this roast out of the fridge. She puts it on the cutting board, cuts off a big chunk of it and throws it away. She gets out all of her seasonings and spices. She's doing all of the things that she's seen her mom do countless times before. Her grandma kind of looks confused and says, wait. Why did you just cut that chunk off and throw it away? And the girl says, well, I don't know. That's what mom's always done. The mom looks at the grandma and says, yeah, Ma, that's what you used to do. You'd cut the chunk off, you'd throw it away, and then you prepare the roast. The grandma gets a big smile on her face and says, yeah, I guess there was that period of time I was doing that when the only roasting pan I owned was too small. When I first heard this story, I started noticing in my life that I had lots of pot roast moments. I was doing things a certain way because it's the way they'd always been done. And I remember when I first started my actual adult job, I was working in a high school. Boy, did we have lots of roasting pans. Lots of pot roast moments where it was like, why are we doing it like this? Is this the most efficient or the most effective way to go about this? And the response usually was, well, I don't know, it's just how we've always done it. Now, I would like to make the argument that so many of us are kind of in that same default mode when it comes to making some New Year's resolutions. You know, this time of the year, it's like there's all of this energy, right? We have this blank slate ahead. And there's like this hope, or it's almost like there's a little bit of magic, right? And I think we get caught up in thinking that we're going to be totally different humans with the turn of the calendar. January 1st comes and we are ready to make some changes in our life. And what's so funny is I think we go about it in that same pot roast way, where the changes that we focus on are sort of the same default mode changes that maybe we've been focused on in years prior. And it's interesting because really there are like two focuses that most people have. And when I'm telling you this, maybe drop it in the comments if this resonates with you. One of the areas is health and fitness, something about your body, something about changing our body in some way. Maybe it's eating healthier, losing weight, exercising more, getting in shape. That's one that so many people default to. The other is something that has to do with money. So maybe it's, saving up more, spending less, doing something with retirement or investments. Those two areas are really popular. And what I think is so funny is that when people make these resolutions, 43% of them expect to fail by February. So we go into it just kind of knowing like, well, this is what I'm going to work on. I don't know. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it won't. 1 out of 4 of us quit within the first week. Most people quit before the end of January. And in fact, only 9% of people are successful at keeping their New Year's resolutions. I want us all to be in that 9%. And that is why we're going to go through this process today to help you really identify some specific actions that can help you maybe stay the course. All right. So a little bit more about me. I don't want to spend a ton of time talking about me, but this all does relate to how this process came to be. So I have my bachelor's degree in psychology, and my master's degree is in counseling. And I worked as a high school counselor for over a decade. 10 of those years were down at New Glarus. And it was the 2019-2020 school year where I participated in the UW-Madison, the Certified Professional Coaching Program. I had actually never intended to leave education. I just really wanted to get more skills to be more effective working with students. But if you'll remember that year, March of 2020, the world shuts down and lots of things changed. So I had been teaching fitness classes on the side just as a hobby, a fun thing to do. And when everything shut down, my participants were really encouraging me, will you please just teach virtually? So I reluctantly started to do that. And there's a lot of tech stuff you got to know. There's some legalities. So it was really kind of a scary thing for me to do, but I decided, okay. And then just over that little bit of time, by the end of the school year, I ended up building up a bit of a virtual fitness business. The program wrapped up in May. And by the end of the school year, I had a handful of clients already. So decided what better time to leave a super secure, stable job in education to go out on my own and start my own business. So lots of coaching with my own coach helped me get there. Lots of crying on the floor. What am I doing? Kinds of moments. But I'm so glad that I did that because it brings me here with all of you today. So now I do coach individual clients, teens, because of my background in school counseling, and adults. And have been partnering more and more with smaller companies to even provide whole wellness package programs. So lots of cool things, right? So in that, just thinking about that like timeline, right? March, world shuts down. Summer, like lots of people were still abiding by safer at home guidelines for a period of time. Because of the nature of my husband's and my jobs, we were too. And fast forward like 10, 11 months, we're still basically just staying at home. Nobody's coming in, nobody's going out. At the time, we had a 2 and a 4-year-old, so little kids, virtual learning for them, like it was all of these things. And by that time, this novelty of this new, hey, I have my own business, that kind of has worn off by that period of time. So I felt like Bill Murray in Groundhog Day. Every single day was the same. And later that year, so later in 2021, the New York Times released this article that was so wonderful. It was so helpful for so many people. It was all about languishing, this concept of languishing. Up until then, so many people had been experiencing this, but we didn't have a name for it. And then later, Adam Grant did a TED Talk that was really fascinating about languishing as well. I always like to say that you can Google it and watch it later on your own time. It's pretty interesting. But languishing is, you can look at this continuum here. If you have depression on one end and flourishing on another, languishing is just this really icky little middle ground. It is very blah. It's like the absence of well-being, and motivation is dulled, focus is dulled. And what I think is the worst part about it is that you're just kind of indifferent when you're there. And it's sneaky. You can be flourishing and slowly just slide into this languishing area. And because it's not particularly painful, you can just kind of stay put. You can stay stuck. And I know that when I talk with people, many people are still sort of in that languishing. And a lot of times when my clients come to me, they just feel stuck and they don't know, what is my first step to get unstuck? What can I focus on to start moving forward and make some changes in my life? So I know that I was languishing. And for me, I think I was sliding closer and closer into that depression. And if you've ever experienced depression, that can feel pretty painful. It can be painful mentally. It can manifest itself in a physical pain. And I think for me, that sort of woke me up a little bit. Now, I am a coach. I believe in coaching. I was working with my own coach at that time, which was a godsend because I was already having someone that I could verbally process through with the things with. But one day in particular, I just remember feeling extra low. And that was when I decided, you know what, I'm going to take out the wheel of life. So this is a great tool, a great process for creating New Year's resolutions. But I want to also encourage you to consider using this tool if you're ever feeling kind of stuck, or if in my world, if I ever have the thought, my life sucks. So I might be a little more dramatic than a lot of you, but just that overarching, my life sucks thought, that's when I pull this wheel out. So it's good for helping us create meaningful actions that can really impact our mental health and well-being. And it's good for us to create meaningful actions as we enter into this new year. Now, I use this visual, this photo of the forest, because of the statement, I can't see the forest for the trees. When we are in our life, we get so bogged down in details. We have these blinders on. And when we have negative emotion, those blinders are really big. We can't see possible solutions that are right in front of us because we just feel negative emotion. We don't see that there are lots of things that we could possibly do about this. And that's why it's good working with a coach, working with a counselor, using processes and tools like this. They can help us kind of remove those blinders. And that's really what we're going to be doing. And I like to also think of it as a clarifying process to help get us out of the weeds. It gives us more of a bird's eye view of our world. It gives us this real look at what's going on in my life. So what I want you to do, pull out a piece of paper and a pen, and you're going to draw this wheel. So just a circle, and then a vertical line, horizontal, and 2 diagonals. And I'm going to walk us through this whole process. Now, the Wheel of Life, super common coaching tool. If you ever want to revisit this, you can just Google it and you will see tons of iterations of it. I'm going to walk you through step by step of exactly how to do it. So first, we're going to label and reflect on each segment of your wheel. And you're going to just rank it on a scale of 0 to 10, how satisfied you feel in each of those areas. So a 0 is like nothing is salvageable. You would change every single thing if you could. 10s, it's like the angels are singing. You wouldn't want to make one change in that area. And 5s, things are fine. Like nothing really to write home about, but they're okay. And then of course, anywhere in between that. So you're going to rank each area, and then you're also going to draw a curved line so that we can see what's going on with our wheel. How bumpy or smooth is our overall ride? All right, so these are not in any particular order. It's not like most important to least important, but these are the 8 typical adult segments in life. And I'm going to give you some flexibility. Even if something doesn't resonate, maybe you just want to leave it out. If a particular part isn't a part of your life, leave it out. You don't even have to rank it. All right, so the first one, career and professional growth. So you're going to label one of your segments that, and then you're going to rank it. And you don't want to overthink it. Just overall, how satisfied do you feel with your career choice, direction, current work, and opportunities for growth? The next one, family and friends. Now you get to choose. Sometimes I have clients who like to keep it clumped as one, and sometimes I have clients who want to divide it into two categories. So they rate it a family and they rank a friends category. So you get to choose, and then just reflect on your level of connection. How would you rank that overall? Next one, personal development. So this is thinking about ways that you're bettering yourself. Maybe you're increasing your self-awareness, self-esteem, skills, things that help you fulfill your dreams and aspirations. This can include spirituality. This can include mental or physical growth, emotional, social. Next one, play and fun. Consider the things that you do that give you energy, that light you up inside, and that make time fly by. I like to think of this as like when you're in the flow, when time changes. Oh my gosh, how did 2 hours just pass? What are you doing that lights you up? Next one, home and work environment. So this is another one that some people like to keep as one because maybe they work from home. Some people like to split it into two. You get to decide. This is your wheel. So consider your home and workspaces, the vehicle you drive, your wardrobe. How do these contribute to or detract from your sense of satisfaction? Consider clutter, cleanliness, and overall feel. I think we have 2 more. 3 more maybe. Intimate relationships. How satisfied are you with the relationship you have or don't have? You may be completely satisfied even if you aren't in a significant or romantic relationship. Health and physical. How comfortable do you feel in your own body? Consider your level of physical activity, energy level, nourishment, health awareness, being up to date on exams, and anything else that encompasses that health and physical. And then last one, money and financial. Consider your income, your savings, retirement, debts, and spending habits. So by now you should have a wheel that has a rating in every single one and hopefully a little arched line to show us really how the flow of your life is. So we want to take a moment to really reflect on this and get curious. Do not become judgmental about your wheel. Sometimes people are like, gosh, of course this area is low. No, we're going to get curious. We're going to ask ourselves some questions. First of all, how is the overall flow of my life? Is it a bumpy or a smooth ride? I like to point out here, the goal is not to have 10s across the board. 10s across the board feels impossible and really overwhelming. That is not the point of this. It is interesting. Research shows that even when people generally rate things low, like 4s and 5s overall, that feels better than when we have 8s and 2s. Those 2s I like to think of as like the thorn in the side. They feel bad. And sometimes when we have something rated so low, it can kind of bleed over into the other areas, or maybe we focus so much of our attention on those low areas that we forget that we actually have areas that are going well, which is actually point number 2. I remember when I sat down to do this on that day that I was feeling really crummy and like my life sucks. The first thing that I really noticed was, wow, it's not my whole life that sucks. It is really just a couple of segments. Lots of things are really going well. It's only a couple things that aren't. And what's helpful about that is we can even get curious. So what is it about these segments that are going well that's different than these other segments? Am I putting more resources into those? Am I flowing more time and energy and more attention into those? Or what is it? We can sometimes even pull from there to help us with our lower segments. And then the third one, which areas need some attention? Now, on that day when I sat down to do this, remember, I was feeling extra crummy, probably had lots of solutions available to me. I couldn't see them because of that negative emotion and just feeling really stuck. So what this did open up was I became aware that my home and work environment was really impacting me. So the next step then, this is a really important part. There was another segment that was really impacting me, play and fun. Because we'd been in this pandemic for how long? I purposely did not choose play and fun for a couple of reasons. First of all, it felt like I didn't have a lot of possibility there to actually improve it. I didn't have a lot of belief in myself in that moment. I want you to kind of think about that. If you don't have a lot of belief in yourself in a particular segment, that's not the segment to choose right now. What we want to choose right now is a segment that we can get an immediate win to create some momentum and some belief that you can make some changes that can really impact how you feel. So if you've been trying to lose the same 15 pounds for the past 10 years, let's leave the health and physical segment alone for right now. Just now, we're not going to leave it alone forever, but just right now, choose a segment that's rated kind of low that we want to just see what we can do to maybe rate it just a little bit higher. So on that day, I chose home and work environment. So I sat down and I asked myself, okay, if I had every single resource available to me right now, all the time, all the money, every person I would need for help, what would I do? What would I do to just increase it by 1 point? By playing this game, it helps us not talk ourselves out of solutions, because sometimes we see solutions and we're like, well, I can't do that because, and a lot of times we aren't even being honest about the solution or like why we can't do something. So playing this game, we can naturally brainstorm some short-term actions, some long-term actions. And I want you to take a moment to do this right now. Brainstorm. What are some things that I could do to raise this lower segment by just 1 point? You'll naturally create actions that maybe require lots of resources, some that probably don't require many. You might even create some actions that require you to become a totally different human. I want you to notice that, cross those off. For example, on my list, I created some idea about creating an elaborate, point system. If my kids are helping me keep the house tidier, they can earn points and earn, prizes. That's a great idea. If I was the person that really could follow through with that, I'm not. And I know that about myself. So cross that off the list. It'll just add to the stress. So be honest. So that day, one of the actions that came across that I wrote down that was sitting there right in front of me by playing this game was to set up, get ready for this. This is so like, duh, of course this would be a good one. But I didn't see it until I did this process. Set up a desk away from the main floor. Because at the time I was working at a counter in between the kitchen, the dining room, the living room, so that I could, just be right there to get the kids whatever they needed. Oh, set up a desk away from the chaos. Okay, that's a good idea. And I didn't talk myself out of it. And that day, truly like that hour, I rearranged some furniture in my bedroom and set up a little desk in the corner. That one action helped me raise that segment in my wheel by a couple of points. It's not that I got to just go there and work all the time, but I had a space to, it sounds terrible to say escape to, but kind of, right? To like go and focus and be away from some of the noise and chaos. It helped me with that work and home environment. And on that list came some longer term actions. My husband and I had been wanting to replace the floors and take out the old carpet and do some home improvement. And it kind of was the catalyst to that. Setting up that desk lit this little bit of a fire in my belly, like, hey, I can do some things that actually impacts how I feel. It impacts what's going on in my environment. That's cool. What else can I do? It created that little bit of momentum. And little by little, we started checking things off until that home and work environment segment felt a whole lot more balanced out. So that is what this process is. That was a creative self-care item that I would have never, ever thought of. Set up a desk. Huh. All right. So what I want you to do, go on your phone, go to slido.com, and I'm going to have this number on there. You'll see it on the screen here, slido.com. And you're going to enter in 499408. Now, I want you to use this as almost like a declaration to yourself, to the universe, to whomever, that you're going to do this. You're going to take some action to feel better in your life. It might not be this huge gargantuan action, but you're going to do something here that's going to impact your world. So 499-408, the first question, which segment of the wheel of life do you want to focus on in the new year? What I think is so interesting about this process, I never would have thought home and work environment. I think we tend to default to what we know, right? We think about our bodies, we think about our finances, and we have so many other areas in our life that can really impact us. Nice. Play and fun is mine as well. That's been the thorn in my side. I've made up excuses to not like prioritize it. And yeah, play and fun is mine. Nice. Awesome. Next question for you. Ready for this? What was one creative resolution that came out of this process? So based on which segment you want to work on for this upcoming new year, what's the first baby step that you can take to maybe light that fire in your belly, to get some momentum, to move forward? I think sometimes, I don't think that people lack self-discipline and motivation. I don't think that's why people fail at their resolutions. I think it has a lot more to do with, where do I start and how do I make it a consistent thing? Nice. Therapy, awesome. Schedule time, clean closets, find time for fun, set an intention, make and keep some social plans. Yeah. Online yoga classes, take time every day to put things away, closet reorganization. I saw another cleaning closets, make date nights happen. Oh, I love that. Okay, I'm going to add that to mine. That's like a twofer, right? Intimate relationships, play and fun. Yeah, awesome. I bet that's find allies at work. Yeah, cool. I see one more person typing and then I'll go to the next one. Have lunch or plan more things with family and friends. Yeah. And those are the things that impact us. They gave us a lot of bang for our energetic buck, you know? All right. Now, to really seal it in, like in coaching at the end of a session, we always say, so what new awareness do you have? Or what's a takeaway? What are you learning about yourself? What's one takeaway or new awareness that this tool helped you create? We can think of it as a tool, as a process. What's one takeaway? I know for me, what this tool has helped me with is it gives me a starting point. It helps me identify a baby step, a first right thing to do. Yeah, which areas need the most focus currently? Oh, I'm so glad that you just wrote that. This is something you can revisit regularly. I know some people revisit this on a monthly basis. They want to just kind of see, how are things going? And you'll notice as you flow more energy and time and resources into one segment, another segment might fall off a little bit. It kind of ebbs and flows. And keep in mind, the goal is not to have 10s across the board. The goal is to have a more flowy, balanced wheel. That feels a lot better to us than when it's all kunk, 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 off balanced. Yeah. Yes, try and attempt one thing at a time. Yes. So good, isn't it? Oh, remote work is sucking the life out of you. Need more social stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to get back here to my presentation. Thanks so much for participating in that, by the way. Slido's so fun. All right, so wrapping things up, cheers to noticing when default mode isn't serving you, so you don't keep unnecessarily cutting the ends off of the pot roast. Cheers to empowering yourself to get curious about the flow of your life and taking steps to make it a smoother ride. And then I think we need to cheers to actually becoming one of the 9% that makes some changes stick through the new year. Ah, so good, isn't it? And if anybody has a health and fitness goal that they really want to try, just by emailing you or by emailing me, you can have a free week of my virtual fitness membership. I teach a live class every single day of the week. You don't even have to give me credit card info or anything to set up a free week to try it out. So just a simple email to Brittany Meoska coaching@gmail.com and we'll get you in there. Yay!
Perfect. Thank you so much. I know I was taking a bunch of notes, just looking at different ways. Each year, I think I always set like I don't want to call it an intention, but like I pick a focus area. And so I have really been working on, and I do my years from birthday to birthday. And so
Oh,
my birthday's in August. And so I kind of like make goals for myself, and then I look like, and I do like a pit and peak of the year, lessons learned. And so that's kind of like, I go for a nice walk on my birthday and things like that. And so, one of the things I've really been focusing on this year is just being intentional about my space. And so that actually has been the thing that we bought a house a couple years ago. And so now it's like, how do I actually want to curate the space I'm living my life in? And so that has been what I've been doing this year. So this was like a nice reminder of just like little things like that. So that is my I think it was low. I didn't do the wheel, but I always like kind of pick like what is that like area that needs a little love, or if I put a little love, it will impact all these other things. And so it has been fun. And it's actually something I'm working on with my husband too. And so we kind of pick like the top 3 things that we want to do in the house for like this quarter. And it's anywhere from painting to just like keeping the weed beds, to even like this quarter is like getting a Christmas tree. So like it big and small. So that is what we've been working on, and it's been really fun. But thank you so much for sharing all of these fun tips and tricks. And I know I took a little bit of notes and just some different mindsets that I'm going to carry with me, and different ways to approach it, which has been always fun to learn alongside with everyone else. So thank you everyone for tuning in, and we will have more Dream Bigs up next year. This was the last one for the year, which is really fun. I hope everyone has a happy holiday season, or at least stays warm this winter. And a few fun things that are signing up. We are going to actually be having a burnout series, a 5-week series just on burnout this winter with Kira Wackett, which is absolutely fabulous. And then we are also having a academy course on purpose, which will be starting in February, I believe, and just helping people discover what their purpose is. And so that will help you then figure out how you want to spend your time as well. So those are just some fun things that are coming up. So please feel free there on our website to look at them and sign up. But thank you so much, and everyone have a wonderful day. Bye.
bye. Thank you.